On the Business Courier front page, there's never been higher demand for apartments in Over the Rhine and downtown. Just one problem: the cost of redevelopment is often a deal breaker. In the centerpiece this week, this needs cash now. Despite demand and vacant buildings, developers have a very difficult time making the numbers work to finance urban living projects. For the casual observer, downtown's apartment market looks easy. All of the apartments are essentially full. Rental rates are climbing. When demand outpaces supply, it's time to build. But the cost of construction and land are keeping costs high for new urban projects. Developers are getting more creative, looking at all their options to put together viable deals. Tax credits, including new markets, low income and historic preservation, have played a huge role in helping to bridge the financing gaps. But these funding tools come with conditions. They're also typically used to redevelop old buildings with many unknowns that typically boost the cost of construction. And more than a half-dozen apartment projects under construction or proposed in and around downtown all have some government assistance. Business Courier reporters Tom Demeropoulos and Chris Wetterick wrote this story, and now Tom is with Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer in the studio with more on what they found. Guys?
Peg, thanks. Tom, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You've written a ton of stories. We've written a ton of stories about how the downtown Over the Rhine market has been wonderful for apartments. But invariably, there are tax credits or there's some sort of help from the government for a ton of these projects. What's happening now to change the game? And we're seeing some projects just saying we can't do it.
Well, there's a lot more competition for those tax credits, Rob. That has been the biggest change. This year, not just Cincinnati, but Ohio was shut out of New Markets tax credits, which was a huge change for the region. We've been such a winner for those tax credits for such a long time. It was kind of a surprise. The other thing is even the historic preservation tax credits are getting more and more competitive. The example of Peak Properties project, they were going after more tax credits than what they got just because there's so much demand to try to use those tax credits.
Yeah, this was something that Cincinnati was pretty much way out in front on, and sort of, I think we got used to getting these deals. I mean, 3CDC themselves had years worth of these tax credits that they're not getting anymore. There's a hole really in the market that if you look at the demographic of the kind of people moving into apartments downtown, what they're willing to spend per month on rent, there's really a gap in the market, isn't there?
There is. We're hitting the luxury apartment market. We're getting the person who's spending about $1.75, $2 a square foot. So there's a gap at that $1 a square foot, $1.25, and that's like a $700 single bedroom apartment. There's just no supply for that downtown right now, and it's really hard to do because the cost of construction, the cost of redevelopment is so high.
So if a developer came in, built a project without help from any form of tax credits, how much would rent be if it was just a purely market-driven?
Yeah, according to real estate developers, renters would be looking at about $3 a square foot, and that is a lot more than anybody is paying currently in the Cincinnati market. That would kind of be a sticker shock, I think, to a lot of people looking at the market, saying that's about $2,100 a month for a single one-bedroom apartment.
So, final question for you: where do we go from here? I can't imagine that it's going to get any easier to get some tax credits. What are developers looking at maybe doing to feed this demand while still having these deals make financial sense?
They're trying to figure out everything they can do, Rob. They're really looking at all their options. They're looking at creative financing. They're looking at partnering. They're looking at working with the city on maybe pieces of property that the city wants to have developed, so there's an incentive there. So really trying to just make it work.
It's a dilemma. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to come on this story, but thanks for being here.
Thanks, Rob.